Bud, every time I've seen you give a speech, there are two things I've learned you do very consistently. One, you come prepared, and two, you bring a lot of energy. And I've seen you give a lot of speeches, and on every speech you can talk about the Scouts and you talk about the Marines, but I've never seen you use a prop like you did today. So I wanted to talk about that. Your theme was how ropes can be used as a metaphor. And I thought that was very clear from the get-go. From laying out the ropes before the speech, you laid out 4 ropes before. Your introduction was very clear that you had given about you that you were going to use ropes as a metaphor. And then I also thought when you said I'm going to give 4 examples of how ropes can be used as a metaphor, and you had 4 different colors for each rope, I thought that was very intentional and on point, because you could have done all of your knots with the same color rope, but you chose to have a yellow rope, a red rope, a blue rope, and a white rope. So I wanted to kind of get into the ropes and talk about which ropes worked and which ropes you can improve upon. So the first rope that worked really well was the yellow rope. I thought laying it out on the floor was a perfect example, and walking with it versus kicking it really left us with the message of being a leader, and that was clear. The red rope, where you had the room engaged, where people were tying the knots and making it as one for people are equal, that was also very clear. The white rope, the rope you wanted to use the reveal with the cutting of the rope and to leave that message. I'm bummed that didn't work for you, and I'm sure you are too. But you played it off really well and you left the room laughing. The thing I consider to do is when you have a reveal like that, is maybe think of what you can do if it doesn't work, because I kind of lost what the meaning of that rope would be. And then what worked really well, I thought, with the thick blue and white rope, and then using a thin rope to kind of show that powerful message, that stood out to me really well. A couple other things that I noticed that might just add to the presentation is I like the way that you wound up the ropes and then laid them down calmly and collected. I think if you do the same thing for all the ropes, where you do the same, kind of roll them up, and instead of maybe just throwing, I think the red one you might have just thrown on the table. And then lastly, how can you give this speech if you're not in this setting where you have one side of the room that can pull the rope? Like I was thinking, if you're on stage, could you give the same presentation? But other than that, great job. It was really fun to watch the presentation, and hope you keep giving more like that.